2014 to order. And beginning with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk Nicholas, could we begin with roll call, please?
Supervisor Fisher?
Here.
Supervisor Wolf?
Here.
Supervisor Raffy?
Here.
Chairman Merritt?
Present.
Supervisor Dorr?
Here.
And Madam Clerk Nicholas, have we complied with all of the laws of the open meetings laws?
Yes, we have.
And we'll begin with citizens' comments.
Mike Laska, W232S6113 Charles Drive.
Good evening.
This is in regards to the letter H and I on the agenda for tonight on the town board. The well monitoring program was started to collect data in case there would be a legal issue with the city. By a legal issue, in the event, and it's truly possible, the city negatively impacts our shallow aquifers. The more data we have, the better our town residents stand, and will they stand a chance in court. Without data, I doubt it. As I see letter I involving Dr. Cherkauer, I believe this is nothing more than smoke, submarine and/or minimize the well monitoring program. At budget time, it was very clear that two town board members did not want to place any money into the well monitoring for 2014. Now, one of these supervisors is in charge of this program. I say more eyes need to be watching this well monitoring program. It must continue at full strength, and our residents should not be deceived with shortcuts. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Going once, going twice. We'll move on. Approval of the minutes from May 22nd, 2014.
I have one question on 6E, the motion. For the contract for Gordon Flesh, forgot the word Flesh. Add that into your minutes, please.
Any other comments? Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from May 22nd, 2014.
Second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. On to 6, monthly report by the Sheriff's Department. Evening, Deputy.
Good evening. I'm Deputy Nathan Fransky, and these are the stats for the month of May. Our total calls for service is 74. We had 6 911 hangups, 2 alarms, 10 assist other agencies, 9 assist fire EMS, 1 disabled vehicles, 42 house and building checks, 8 suspicious persons and vehicles, 37 citations, 2 written warnings, 15 verbal warnings, 4 ordinance citations, 1 warrant pickup, 4 citizen service walk-ins, 4 follow-up investigations, 2 well-being checks, 3 accidents for property damage only, 3 personal injury accidents, 2 cardiers, 3 operating after suspension/revocations, 1 OWI, 9 other traffic offenses, 2 animal cases, 1 battery, 2 criminal damage to properties, 1 disorderly conduct, 1 fraud, 2 harassments, 2 loud noise, 1 missing person, 1 suicide, 1 trespass, 2 uncontrollable juveniles, and 2 other offenses.
Questions? Thank you. And on to the monthly report from the fire chief.
Run summary for May, we had 26 ambulance requests, 7 more vehicle accidents, 8 fire responses. We gave, usually it was given 5 times and we received it once. 2 of our members went on leave of absence in May, so we're operating with 40 active members. We have 4 people on leave of absence, secretary, treasurer, and 2 high school cadets. 3 fire prevention programs were done in May, one of the Girl Scout troops, 4-H troop, and St. John Newman Festival. And we have 1 event scheduled so far for June. Fire inspections for the first 6 months are continuing, are actually just about done for the first 6 months. This coming Saturday, June 14th, we're doing an all-day live fire training over on Salesville Road. We put advertisements out, we've got notices out to neighbors. It's been on the internet. Salesville Road is going to be closed from River Road to Woods Road from about 7:30 in the morning till 4 in the afternoon. There won't be any through traffic at all. Local traffic will be able to go east and west out of their properties, but the road will be closed at the burn site near Green Country. We'll be out there all day. There will be flames. I'm sure you'll hear phone calls. That's where we'll be. There's going to be several other departments. Most of the counties coming with tenders since we have to haul water there. I think we have 12 departments coming with tenders, and there's 3 other departments participating in the training. So, being all day affair, that's what we'll be on the 14th.
Chief, have you, earlier in the year, you had a far higher than expected number of calls? Have you fallen back into the norm?
We're still running probably 60 calls ahead of last year. We're still running pretty aggressively this year.
As a percentage, where is that? What percentage increase?
15% maybe. That's off the top of my head without actually looking at real numbers.
Fair enough. Questions? Thank you. And a report from our clerk treasurer, Clerk Nicholas.
The Rolling Oaks Development Agreement was reviewed and signed. We reviewed the Gordon Flesch proposal and signed that. Gordon Flesch started serving the town today. We sent out the RFPs for the town sewer hookup, and we'll be opening those tonight. We researched an accounting package, which we'll be discussing tonight. And our CDBG grant, we keep talking about our audio and video. That will be starting in July. They're coming in to do the installation July 1st. We are still getting some, we're still receiving some snowplow damage complaints. And we've been sending a couple people out to our weed commissioner for some weed complaints. I've had 3 open records requests. Attorney Kathy Gutenhouse for the Kruger building, we completed that. We have an open records request for Attorney Schmitzer for Miss Smart for 5 diamonds, completed that. An open records request for Sandy Hahn, meeting sign-ins, and we completed 50% of that. Comparing last year's current assets, checking and cashing, we're at 7% ahead of last year.
Thank you. Thank you. Any questions for Clerk Treasurer Nicholas? And we'll move on to number 7, Plan Commission items. Discussion and possible action on the following: the certified survey map from Kevin Shimolewski, Lot 1, CSM number 10623. Tax key is 140599816. Is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I will move to recommend that we accept the recommendation of the Town Plan Commission for approval with conditions that they've appended to it.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. On to 8, current business, discussion and possible action on the following. Open the RFPs for the town hall sewer lateral hookup.
American Sewer Services. $130,900. Wenasek Corp., $50,150. DF Tomasini Contractors, $79,870. MJ Construction, $62,370. The last one. BCF Construction, $63,170.
There was no intent on taking any action on that tonight, rather opening the bids and referring them to the engineer for review and his recommendation. Unless there's any comments on any of that moving forward. On to B, appointment of oversight
This
supervisors.
information, are we gonna scan them in and send them to them, or are you gonna copy them? What's your plan, just so Chris knows?
We should have
I'll
copies.
take
We'll make a copy.
Yeah, I'll make a copy.
Appointment of oversight supervisors to functional areas for town government. We'll begin with buildings and grounds. Supervisor Wolf, if you don't have any objection. Parks, again Supervisor Wolf, or Park it should say, I suppose. Finance, Supervisor Fisher.
Okay.
Personnel, Supervisor Radke, that would include human resources, insurance, all that would go along with that. Public Works, Supervisor Durr. And legal and accounting, by the mere fact that I have more interaction with the town attorney on an ongoing basis, would be me. Any questions? We'll move on to C, approval of the 2015 financial software to be purchased. Clerk Salentine has done, Clerk Nicholas, I cannot. It's almost like I'm doing it on purpose.
That's fine.
Sorry.
Maybe there should be a fine jar. Clerk Nicholas has done an exhaustive research on a new accounting package for the town. She's got a spreadsheet that you've all seen with the various products that are available, the number of communities who are using them, the costs, the pluses and minuses, and take it away, Clerk Nicholas.
We did have demos come in for Workhorse and Banyan, and so we saw both products. we feel that we would like to request the purchase of a workhorse for a couple reasons. They do all the updating of all of the Wisconsin laws, so whenever a Wisconsin law changes, they right away update that into the software. They actually reside here in Wisconsin, so when I call them, they can come. They are willing to split the cost of the package between this year and next year. And their training, their annual training support includes training of any new staff, which is wonderful. I have spoken with other clerks and treasurers and accountants that work with both packages, and they were happy with what they had. They were not planning on changing from those. Some people have had them as long as 20 years. One of the things I'm looking to do is continue using QuickBooks to complete this year and close out 2014, but start our work on the 2015 budget using this program and start using fund accounting processes instead of modified accrual-based accounting processes. Since we are a government, we want to show accountability and not really show profit and loss. So we want to kind of get a different idea of how we should be looking at our expenditures and revenues. By changing the software from QuickBooks to Workhorse will give us the ability to go to fund balance. Our auditors would like to see much more security, and because in QuickBooks we can change something in QuickBooks and then change it again and nobody would know who was in. There's no audit trail, and there's no way of knowing the change happened. So you could go in, cut a check, then go in and change that check amount, and there's no real auditing. So we want to have that auditing, so there's a lot more steps if I'm gonna change something, but it gives us a real good, the town a real good feeling that we know who's been in, what's been done, and I think that will be helpful. Our current system does not allow to report any comp time, earned or used, any vacation time, so we're doing everything either by spreadsheets or by the word of the staff person. We currently don't really have any user support when it comes to the changes in the Wisconsin laws, and that's good.
Mr. Fisher?
Yeah, question for Clerk Nicholas, and a comment as well. The folks at Baker Tilly that you've been working with on the audit and other things, have they had any comments, recommendation, input on what we're looking at for different software?
They have worked with Workhorse, and they like Workhorse, but they will not recommend any package.
I understand, okay. And the second thing that I've got is kind of I guess an expectation thing going forward, and lay it even out right at the minute, if we're inclined to head off in this direction, unless you or someone can tell me it's not a reasonable request. I think, at least I would like to know, and maybe other members of the board, I'd like to know, if we move ahead and implement this, I'd like to know who is going to be trained. I'm not looking for an answer tonight, but people are going to be trained, and I would like to know a vision about who would be given access to it and who wouldn't, and that type of thing. So that could be for another day, but unless somebody can tell me that's inappropriate, that's an expectation that I would have.
Well, I can quickly answer. All three of the staff will be trained on the product, so then we can back each other up. And so if somebody left, we'd still have two others that can work the product. Access-wise, I haven't really thought about it other
That's
than
fair.
those three. But we do have the ability to give access, read-only access, so if somebody else wanted to go in, we can give somebody totally read-only access so they can do that. The other nice thing about this product, it allows more than one person in the software at a time. Right now, we have one product and if I wanted to make a change on or look at a report, I can't get in it because somebody else is in it right now.
Supervisor Fisher, I don't think you're asking for or suggesting anybody other than in the office has access or to any software package?
At this point in time, that's correct.
Okay.
Just another thing, this package is gonna do a real nice job on getting us prepared for our budget. I can put in 2013 and 2014 budget and actual expenses, and we can go through our worksheet, which will really help us in the process to see exactly what we spent the last 2 years, how it was spent, and we are also gonna go with a chart of accounts that the state requires. It'll reduce our cost in auditing if we use the chart of accounts that the state suggests. And this software is set up with that chart of accounts. So it will reduce, we'll be able to actually print what the auditors want without having the auditor to map the, where that account number needs to go in their forms.
In talking with Clerk Nicholas, depending on which software package we were to choose, if any, there may have been a need for a budget amendment. In this case with Workhorse, which is the one that's your preference, we would not need to amend the budget. There is significant funds within the.
That's correct. With Workhorse, we can split up the cost between this last half of the year and first half of next year. And we have the money in our accounting contract services budget. And since we're no longer using our contracted service accountant at the same rate, we would be able to take that out.
Questions? Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion that we move to purchase the Workhorse package for the town's financial accounting software.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion?
Does this have any import capabilities from what we have now, or are we just stuck with the legacy system for as long as we want to look at anything up to the close of 2014?
I think the cost of, it does have import possibilities, but it would be, the cost would be prohibitive. And that's why they suggested that we do the budget and the actuals, and that would give us, that we can put in the budgets, past budgets and the actuals, but not each line item for every transaction.
Okay.
Anything further? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On to D, I think we can dispense with D since there is no need for a budget amendment. F, budget amendment for other benefits, $15,000 from 51,420.1 to 51,420.4 to cover benefits that were under budgeted.
This was the same functional area. It's the clerk treasurer's staff or office. The benefits were not budgeted at all for clerk treasurer's position. And what we're doing is taking money from the salary and wages to cover that benefit.
Is there a motion?
Question before we vote. The extra salaries because of the shortage we had of of employees over the few months.
Correct. And what I did was I played out exactly what we had in there, so we were not going to be short in the long run.
Is there a motion?
I will move to increase the budgetary appropriation for account number 51420.4, other benefits, by $15,000, and offset that with a decrease in the budgetary appropriation for salaries and wages, account number 51420.1, by $15,000, and I so move.
Second?
I'll second that.
Clerk Salantini, a quick question on.
Nicholas.
Clerk Nicholas, I can't believe it. Clerk Nicholas, on the resolution 2014-10, we've got 51-320.
I've printed everyone out, a new one with 51.4.
Except me.
So if you could,
There
sign
you go.
that one, that would be the correct one.
Any further questions?
How do we find ourselves in a situation where we only budgeted for 5671 in clerk treasurer benefits and having consumed essentially $5,000 to date? Why are we so short, I guess is what I'm asking.
Because it was, the clerk treasurer's position never was budgeted any benefits.
Clerk Valentine didn't take beneficial treatment when we lost. So we just budgeted actuals instead of,
Okay,
there wasn't a need for it. That makes sense? Yeah, that's what I understand.
Yes, that's
Okay.
exactly right.
thank you.
Anything further? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Is it a roll call or not?
On a budget amendment, you're correct, I apologize.
Supervisor Fisher,
Aye.
Supervisor Dorr,
Aye.
Chairman Merrick,
Yes.
Supervisor Radke,
Aye.
Supervisor Wolf,
Yes.
Motion carries. On to G, budget amendment for the auditor of $7,000. Clerk Nicholas, could you explain that to us?
absolutely. We received a bill for $6,700 for our auditor. $3,300 of that was for amendments or audit paperwork. It's journal entries. They needed to have some of the journal entries from 2011 and 2012 changed, and as well as others for 2013. That cost us $3,300. So with this software and with the new staff, we will be able to reduce that in the upcoming budget. But for now, we need to pay the budget, we need to pay the bill, and we're expecting to still have some invoices from them in the future, so we rounded it to 7,000. That would leave about 4,500 for anything the rest of the year.
Question, what was the budget for this year for the audit? Anybody, Mike, do you have that, to what you're looking at?
I believe it was $12,500.
And some of that billing went to our previous auditors to do the paperwork that was needed for the current auditors. So we paid them some money this year as well.
What were some of the additional $7,000 funds for? What were some of the upcharges or overages?
Most of the cost was, or 50% of the cost was for the journal entries, the paperwork. And like I said, some of those were from 2011 and 2012. Some of it has to do with the fact that our software, our current software doesn't allow for specific entries. So for instance, we have an entry for the fire department radios. and we get a grant, we can only use it for one thing, one purpose, we have money for that one purpose. But the software really doesn't take in effect the funding source. So our auditor put it in liabilities, thinking that that would be a good place to keep it. Well, our auditor didn't like it there, so we had to make those adjustments. So any kind of grants that came in that were specific to a specific project, we needed to change that and put that in the proper place.
Is there a motion?
I didn't see anything that this was part of our packet about where we're amending from and to.
Part of our discussion, decide where we're gonna take it from.
Okay. Then somebody's gotta have a motion with an idea where we're gonna take it from, right? Can't make a motion without a decision or an idea where we're gonna take it from.
Fair enough.
I mean, we can make something up so we can get the discussion going, but
I'll make something up so we can get the discussion.
I'm good with that.
I will move that we increase the budgetary line item for the auditor. Someone will have to help me with that account number. Do you have that handy?
51330.7.
51330.7.
51330.7.
Increase that line item by the amount of $7,000 and appropriate those funds from the money in our general treasury, and I so move.
Is there a second?
Sure, I'll second that.
Discussion?
So if I look at our, only because the title says it, P&L statement, it says that we budgeted 12.5 and spent 15. Am I to assume that that's 15 if we, once we spend the 7? Because that would tell me that we're $2,500 over budget already.
If we, the bill was for 6,700.
Okay.
We would have spent the, about 27 if we don't approve this. But we did not cut the check until we get proper funding. So it was spent,
So it was spent,
It
but
was
we
spent.
haven't paid
but we have not paid.
to, okay, thanks, that answers my question. Mr. Chairman, you got an idea where to get the money from?
My recommendation would have been that we take it from the general fund.
Call question, unless there's more discussion.
Roll call vote?
Supervisor Wolf?
Yes.
Supervisor Radke?
Yes.
Supervisor Fisher?
Yes.
Supervisor Dorr?
Yes.
Chairman Merrick?
Yes. Motion carries. On to H, report on the monitoring of private wells in the town of Waukesha.